According to government whistleblowers, the record number of migrant children crossing into the United States without parents has led to an underground economy thriving on the exploitation of these children, with thousands forced to work punishing jobs at factories and construction sites. Now, earlier today, the House Energy and Commerce Committee's Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations heard testimony from Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra and questioned how federal systems meant to protect children have failed them so badly. Joining me now to discuss this is Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger. She serves on the House Committee on Energy and Commerce and represents the 1st Congressional District of Tennessee. Congresswoman, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us about the whistleblower reports and the reporting on the exploitation of children that led to today's hearings.
Well, there's a number of children that they cannot get in touch with. You've got 85,000 unaccompanied children that they have lost track of, and a third of those were immediately they lost. And what we're finding out are the whistleblowers coming forward saying, hey, these kids are working 12, 14 hours in factories or, in meat processing plants. They're exposed to chemicals. These are because they have been given to sponsors that have probably not been vetted at all. And it's an atrocity to think that these precious children are paying off a debt that they owe to the cartels, and HHS has just taken an approach. It's, the ORR office under HHS, it is ridiculous that they do not know where these children are. They have lost track of them, and they're not even vetting the sponsors because there are categories of sponsors. And what I found out today is some of these sponsors may have up to 40 children, which is unacceptable. And for our government to be doing that is, it's atrocious. That's all I can say.
So, Congresswoman Harshbarger, I want to be very clear here. We're talking about children who are coming into the United States and are being exploited, working dangerous jobs. As you said, some sponsors have 40 children. This sounds like a workforce that we're facilitating with minors. I mean, we're told that we were told that this was the compassionate thing to do to let these children into the country. They're being exploited.
They are. They're making money off of these unaccompanied children. God only knows what they go through and where they're at. Sometimes they're lied to and they're like, well, we'll let you go to school. The sponsors tell them this. We'll make sure you go to school. You'll be fed. You'll have a good life. Well, after they work 12 hours a day and God only knows what they're exposed to, this is unacceptable for our government. Like you said, they bring them over. They say this is the compassionate thing to do. Get them out of the situation that they're in the country that they're coming from. And we are probably the United States, and I will tell you this administration is the biggest human trafficker in the world, basically. And this is just unacceptable. There's not words that I have for Secretary Becerra today. He could not and would not answer my questions.
How many children are we talking about?
Well, like I say, you're getting maybe 120,000, coming through. We can't find 85,000 as of now. We can't even get true numbers from them. If you've got 6 million people, they say, that have come across this border illegally, how many of them are unaccompanied children? Right. I don't even know if we have true stats. They're not even keeping track of some of this. We don't even know if they're vetting the sponsors to see if doing background checks. He would not admit to doing background checks on 100% of these sponsors, whether they have someone in the household that has maybe a child abuse record. We have no idea. So we're looking at hundreds of thousands of kids that we can't find.
One thing they seem to be able to get right on almost every policy is their LGBTQ initiatives. And I want to play a clip from today's hearing where Dan Crenshaw was asking a question of Secretary Becerra. Clip 7, please.
There's a 17-year-old boy. He tells you all that he's a girl. Does he automatically just get placed into the women's facilities? Is that how that process works?
Congressman, thanks for the question. At HHS, we have a legal obligation, a moral obligation as well, to safely and humanely care for all the.
Is that how the process works?
And so we make sure that we provide all the children in our care with the human rights protections and freedom from discrimination and abuse that they're entitled
Right,
to.
so it is how that works. It shouldn't work that way.
Moral obligation? That's hogwash.
Yeah, I had a few other words besides hogwash. I didn't say them, I thought them though, because, who's here to protect these children? If they're going to be here sent by themselves, to be put enslaved is what it is. And we don't even know if, where they're working. Are they holding these factories accountable if they find out that they are working these underage children? There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. And tomorrow he's going to be at my doctor's caucus meeting. And so I'll get to ask more questions, hopefully, about what's going on. He'll remember me, I hope, Tony, when I see him tomorrow.
I think he will. Congresswoman Diana Harshbarger, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for fighting for the kids.
Oh, we'll continue to do that, and it's my pleasure.